In Greek myth, Hera doesn't just get angry, she remembers, she watches. And when she strikes, it isn't a tantrum, it's a judgment. This is Hera, why the Queen of the Gods never truly forgave. Hera is not a side character in Zeus's story. She's the Queen of Olympus, the public face of legitimacy, marriage, vows, inheritance, status. In myth, that isn't romance, it's law. So when people call Hera jealous, they miss the point. Hera isn't guarding a relationship, she's guarding a system. Here's the contradiction that poisons Olympus. Zeus rules the cosmos, but refuses to rule himself. His affairs aren't private mistakes, they're political events. Each new lover, each new child, threatens the one thing Hera embodies, that the throne has a lawful structure, a public order that can't be mocked without consequences. And that's why Hera's wrath rarely lands where you expect it. Not on Zeus, on the world around him, because that's where legitimacy lives. To understand Hera, picture Olympus like a court. Zeus is raw authority, lightning, force, the final decision. Hera is legitimacy, the crown that insists power must answer to rules. And when authority breaks the rules publicly, legitimacy doesn't just feel pain, it feels threatened. Because if vows are optional, then nothing is stable. Not marriages, not houses, not kings, not succession, nothing. Hera's stories are full of a specific kind of humiliation, the queen forced to watch the king treat the law like a suggestion. And Hera is the goddess who refuses that downgrade. She refuses to let betrayal become normal. She refuses to let the throne become a stage prop. Hera is not powerless. There is a mythic memory that changes how you see her. Once, Hera and other gods tried to bind Zeus, chains on the king of heaven itself. Think about that. Not gossip, not jealousy, a political act. A moment when the queen and her allies decide, enough. But it fails. Zeus is freed. And Hera learns a brutal truth. You can't defeat raw authority head-on. If you fight lightning with fists, you lose. So Hera fights differently, not with lightning, with consequences. That word, consequences, is Hera's signature. Zeus acts, Hera responds. Zeus improvises, Hera formalizes. Zeus wants desire to be private, Hera makes it public. Because for Hera, betrayal is not a mistake, it's an attack on the institution she represents. And institutions don't heal with apologies, they heal with enforcement. Take Io, a secret love. Zeus tries to hide it. Hera notices anyway, because that's what she does. In the stories, Zeus attempts concealment, transformation, excuses, anything to keep the affair from becoming official reality. But Hera's response is procedural, almost cold. The pattern is clear: accusation, demand, surveillance, punishment. Io becomes proof that secrecy doesn't protect you in the palace of gods. Because Hera doesn't need to read minds, she reads the world. The odd coincidences, the sudden hush, the nervous detours. And once she suspects, she doesn't rage like a lover, she interrogates like a queen. Is not just a victim of jealousy, she becomes an example. Because Hera's goal is to make betrayal publicly expensive. Not for the thrill of cruelty, but because if betrayal has no cost, then order collapses. And notice what happens here. Hera doesn't need to win the lover, she needs to win the narrative. She needs the world to learn. Vows matter, status matters, the queen's throne matters. Even if the lesson is brutal. Then comes Leto, quiet, hunted, and pregnant. Hera's response isn't a duel, it's a blockade. In the stories, Hera pressures the world itself. No safe place will host Leto's birth. Every shore turns away. Every city refuses. It's cruelty with a purpose. Hera isn't trying to win a fight. She's trying to deny legitimacy, deny a rival story from becoming real. Think about how terrifying that is. Not a lightning strike, a social shutdown, doors closed, hospitality revoked, shelter denied. Hera weaponizes society, geography, even the rules of welcome, because legitimacy is always public. And if the public refuses to witness you, it's like you never existed. And yet the myth twists. Leto finds Delos, the drifting island that finally accepts her. Apollo and Artemis are born anyway. That's what makes Hera frightening in a different way than Zeus. Zeus is sudden. Hera is sustained. She can wait. She can tighten the world around you. And still, fate slips through the cracks. Now Semele. Zeus promises a gift. Semele asks for proof that love is real, proof that power can be safe. And that's where Hera strikes with precision. She doesn't need to throw lightning. She only needs to push a question in the right direction. Show me your true form. Divine power becomes too much. The lesson is cruel and clear. Absolute power is never human, not even when it loves. In Hera's world, the cost of Zeus's desire is always paid by someone else. And that is the point. Zeus can mean well. Zeus can promise protection, but he cannot make his power harmless. Now the most famous war Hera wages isn't against a lover, it's against a child, Heracles. A living reminder that Zeus can break the rules and still produce heroes, still claim glory, still rewrite the story. So Hera turns the child into a battlefield. Trials, suffering, impossible labors, an entire life bent under the weight of divine politics. This is where Hera's logic becomes sharpest. If Zeus's affairs create heroes who gain fame, then betrayal gains rewards. So Hera tries to poison that reward, to make the consequences so heavy that the story stops being glorious. Not because she hates strength, but because she hates the lesson that strength excuses everything. Whether you read it as vengeance or tragedy, the logic is the same. When power humiliates law, law responds by making an example. Because if the queen accepts humiliation as normal, she teaches the world that the throne is optional. And in myth, that is the beginning of chaos. Now step back. Hera is not evil because she's angry. She's relentless because she represents something bigger than emotion: order, oaths, boundaries, marriage as a public contract, the line between lawful and lawless. Hera can't forgive because forgiveness would normalize humiliation. It would teach the world that vows are decoration, that legitimacy is theater, that betrayal has no cost. And if order depends on being enforced, then order always carries a shadow, punishment. That is Hera's paradox. She defends stability and leaves scars. She protects the rules and makes you fear them. So what is the real portrait? Not a hero, not a villain, an engine of order that refuses to stop. If Zeus is the lightning that decides instantly who stands and who falls, then Hera is the crown that insists decisions must have rules and consequences. That is Hera. Not soft, not gentle, not fair, but coherent. And once you see her that way, the myths change. They stop looking like gossip. They start looking like a warning. When power breaks the system strikes back.